Hey everybody, welcome back to Bags and Omens. This is episode, oh, excuse me, 29. It's Major Arcana card Strength. I'm your host Ryan, AM air pronouns, and uh, yeah, we're talking about strength today, so let's dive into it. So our first part of this card is the numerology. I have my Black Cat's Tarot here. And we've got a black cat sitting in a deep dark cave with a river of lava flowing by, petting the bowed head of a really mangy looking lion, or well, not mangy, uh, a kind of a messy looking lion. Got a very long tail. You can't really see it, but his claws and his teeth are kind of showing, but he's bowing his head to this cat who you can sort of see her shadow in the background is looking a lot more regal than she actually is sitting. Um, so that regal, strong strength is kind of what's is in her shadow, what she's really looking like. Because one of the myths of shadows is they show the truth of our shape, and so the truth of her shape is much more regal and bigger and strong and calmer than the lion itself. But anyway, so the numerology, so this card's number is in the RWS tradition, it's card number 8. In the Marseille and the Toff deck, this is actually card 11, and number 8 is Justice. But since RWS is what I use most often, it's what I'm going to go by. Since it's the most common deck out there is the RWS base decks. So strength is card number 8 in the majority of decks out there, so we're going to keep with that. So the number 8 is, and if you use the Marseille or the Toff, you can ignore the numerology in this card in this episode and in the episode about card Justice and just switch the numerology. Um, Now, I will say it might bleed out and bleed through into the rest of the card because that's kind of what it's supposed to do. But you can switch it if need be. We're not packing it into the whole of the journey, the Fool's Journey with the whole Major Arcana, so it's not quite um, it's not quite as big a thing. Though in my Tarot 101 video series, I do have it in the 8th position when we go through the Fool's Journey. But anyway. The number 8 is it's the most active spiritual number, so it's the highest. So each of the numbers is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the higher the number, the higher the spiritual level, the higher active it is. Basically, the first 3 numbers are the least active, the last 3 numbers are the most active. So 2. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so 2, 4, and 8 are the numbers of the soul or the spirit. So 8 is on the most active end of the plane, so it is the most active spiritual number. It is wisdom expressed intuitively through loving action. So the wisdom of things, which is to say knowing things and connecting them and using them, that is wisdom. And using your intuition, knowing and intuitively how these should be applied, is you're actually expressing them. So you taking this wisdom, expressing it through your intuition in a loving way, loving action, actively doing things lovingly. It brings independence into focus. It's the double 4. So 4 is the most steady, stable, structured number. So we've got a 4, 4 on top of a 4 to create an 8. And so it's the elevation. So it elevates those practical and organizational aspects of that 4, the practical, grounded, organized, structured 4 doubles in the 8. it both doubles and it elevates it to the next level. Well, elevates. It basically brings it up. So instead of it's been down here, and the 8 brings it up. Like, we've been through this, now let's do it the next hardest level up, or the next level. It brings those asks, because the 4 is very much a very physical number. 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3. So we've got physical, spiritual, mental. 4, physical. 5, spiritual. 6, mental. 7, physical. 8, spiritual. So 4 is physical, but 8 is a spiritual number. So it's taking that physical, it's bringing it up into the spiritual realm to create the 8. So it's very interesting how that crosses over, but 8 is very strongly connected to 4, unlike some of the other numbers connection. Most of the other numbers don't have those strong connections, except for like the 3, 6, and 9, but those are all mental. 4 and 8 are just as strongly connected, and it's a physical to a spiritual. So it brings that physical up into the area of the soul. So that's so in this card, we see that represented here with the fact that this lion is very much a physical, material manifestation of a certain form of strength. And it's kind of brutish and brutal, and it's just, we've even got strength in this lava here, which is the most physical and densest you can get, the most non-sentient you can get. Basically, the lion brings it up a step, and then this cat here, what she's doing is she's that 8 reaching down to the 4 of the lion and elevating it up, being like, okay, yes, you're strong, come up to me. And we see that represented in the shadow with that, bringing that up. It's like, yes, you are necessary, I'm not taking you down. She's not pushing down the lion, she's petting its head. She's kind of like holding it, but just gently. It's like, no, you don't need to go nuts here. We can channel your strength into something beautiful and useful and wonderful. And so we've kind of got that with the 8. So the next part of our card is the alchemy of, or how this card fits into alchemy. So now the one thing with this is the card I've got, I'm actually going to go a little bit back to the black cats. So just for a sec. So the first part of this quote I took from my alchemy book is wisdom, the woman, directing the energies and the energies of instincts, the lion. And so we've got that right there. So the wisdom directing the energies of the instincts. And the reason I didn't take the Black Cat Pharaoh for this and instead use my new Supernatural deck is because that is perfect for this deck. So strength in the Supernatural deck is the vampire Benny. Now we'll get into the story in a second. So the full quote from my alchemy book is, actually, you know what? No, okay, so the full quote is, wisdom directing the energies of instincts, in doing so commanding the most difficult, dangerous, and powerful aspects of the work. The blind forces of matter and the subconscious, by using energy wisely, we gain more, and what could destroy us serves us willingly. The reason I really love this card, this supernatural card, Benny the Vampire, for this major arcana, is Benny's story is he was a vampire who, in supernatural, vampires are pretty nasty characters. And I like to call them the multi-fang vampires because they've got a second row of teeth that comes out over their like human teeth, and they're all fangs, like all the way around, up and bottom, top and bottom, and a multitude of fangs. It's actually pretty cool looking. And he's actually kind of got his out in this picture. You can sort of see it here. He's kind of grinning. But he was a vampire. He worked with smugglers in Louisiana. He was betrayed. I don't remember all the details behind it, but basically he was trying to do, somebody was doing a power grab. I think he might have been sort of involved in power grab, but they betrayed him and he ended up killed. Well, in Supernatural, when monsters get killed, they end up in purgatory. So when Dean died, well, Dean got sucked into purgatory while trying to kill the Leviathan. It worked, and yada yada. Dean met Benny while in purgatory, and in return for Benny helping him escape, he took Benny's soul along, found his body, and returned his soul to his body, so Benny lived again. Now, Benny was slightly different from a lot of the other vampires, basically just through what he'd known. His own life, personally, his first life previously, he'd kind of been a little bit more of a good egg than a bad egg, which is part of what got him killed. And then in Purgatory, being with Dean, he's very much moral. He's got much higher morals than most vampires do, basically. And his story, after he takes revenge on those who killed him, he's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm a vampire, but I don't want to live as a monster hunting people, innocent people, for only just to feed and seeing them as less. He's like, I don't see humans as less. I actually think they're kind of better than me. So he actually finds his great-great-granddaughter and starts working at her shop. There's a whole thing, but basically the gist of his story, a lot of his story's arc has to do with he is a vampire who is vicious. A lot of the monsters in Supernatural tend to be ruled by their instincts. And they tend to be vicious, monstrous. That's why they tend to be called monsters. They're vicious. They don't give a crap about others' lives. They just want what they want, and they'll do whatever they want and whatever they can to get it. Benny has decided that is not for him. He's too strong-willed to allow his instincts to rule over him. So we see this wisdom directing the energies of instincts. He doesn't bury his vampireness per se. He does bury it when it's not necessary, but in his story arc with his great-great-granddaughter, he does eventually end up needing to, in order to protect her, pull out the full vampire and thing. And he ends up leaving after it because he scares her, obviously. But we see that wisdom directing the energies. He doesn't end up attacking her. He only uses his abilities to protect, to keep people safe. So like I said, that wisdom directing the energies of instincts. In the end, he actually, actually, now I won't spoil it for those who haven't seen it, but if you want to. But yeah, so he's literally this alchemy quote, commanding the most difficult, dangerous, and powerful aspects of the work of himself, the blind forces of matter and the subconscious, by using the difficult, dangerous, and powerful aspects of the work are the blind forces of matter and the subconscious. That is all his instinct, that is all the vampire. By using the energy wisely, by actually commanding it, by saying, no, this will not control me, I control it, he gains more, and what could destroy him serves him willingly. And because he's got a thing with Dean, was like, if I ever go full vamp, you have full permission to kill me. It's like, so his vampiricness, and he would consider that taking over, destroying him. Because if it took over, if his instincts as a vampire took over, it would destroy who he is as Benny. So I think that's perfect for this card. Alright, so moving on to the astrology. The astrology of strength is the zodiac sign of Leo. And Leo is, some of the keywords associated with it are generous, warm, dramatic, flamboyant, magnetic, strong-minded, optimistic, honorable, loyal, frank, energetic, and regal. All summed up in this card here in the Celestial deck, because we have the Lady and the Lion, of course. The Lion's kind of crouched down a little bit in the background, kind of just staring like he's almost about to pounce, but he's not quite primed for a pounce. It's a little more lay down. The lady up front is strutting her stuff. She's got one hand on a hip, one hand laid out, and her hair is whipped back as she's looking aside. She is full flamboyant Leo here. She is gorgeous, and she fucking knows it, and she's going to make sure you fucking know it too, because she is sure of herself. She's all up in yellows, oranges, and reds. Hell, she's holding a snake on her arm and looking at it. I forgot to mention that part. You can't really see it, but she's got a snake on her arm, and she's just like, "Yeah, you gonna talk to me? Okay." And she's just kind of talking to the snake, who's kind of sticking his tongue out. She's like, she is freaking power right there. Um, now the Leo is known as the sign of valor, daring, and willpower, and that's all summed up in her look. She's daring this snake to bite her. She is valiantly she's valiantly commanding the lion, and she's just freaking, her willpower is that which commands everything around her. Now we've got some symbols here. So we've got the sign of Leo up here. We've got the Hebrew letter associated with this, which is Teth. I believe that's the one they have drawn on here. I forgot to look. And of course we've got the upright triangle, which is the alchemical symbol for fire. And Leo is a fire sign. It's a fixed fire sign, actually. So it's the second fire sign in the cycle of fire. And it is the fifth sign of the zodiac. And fixed means they don't want to change unless they don't want to be forced to change unless they want to change. They're stubborn, but they're also loyal. They're steady and strong, and that can be strong-willed. They just they're fixed. They like being where they're at. So this is fixed fire. It's the constellation of the summer solstice. From approximately 6,000 to 3,000 BCE, it was this constellation that was in the sky overhead at summer solstice. It no longer is. We've talked about this before, where most of the actual constellations, because of the way things rotate, our universe is constantly moving. None of the constellations that we associate with the zodiac signs are actually in where they were when the zodiac was being created, or being understood. But the energies of the zodiac have stayed the same because as a collective, humanity has fixed them into place. And even though the sign of one constellation may be on the entire opposite side of the year, its energies is still, the energies of that zodiac is still where it was first originally made, because it's a bit of a fixed thing for us humans, I suppose. But if you decide, Sandra Kine's star magic has to do with actually the astronomy and working with the constellations themselves, where they are now in the natural world, as opposed to the more theoretical astrological area of this. So at the time, though, the constellation coincided with the Nile flood, which the Nile is the protective deity, which equaled it to become basically the protective deity of sacred water. The lion. The lion became a deity of protected water. So there's almost a little bit of that here down near the end, where it looks kind of like water, even though it's colored in it's in the color of flames. So we've got fire, Leo, protective deity of sacred water, because it was the summer. It's like this is when the summer is happening, so the lion is the protector of this water. It brings the water. It's also associated with the Nemean lion. The Nemean lion, which was the lion that with the skin so tough that nothing could pierce it until Hercules strangled it and then took its skin. Which, if the skin could not be pierced, how did he manage to skin it, is my big question. I'm pretty sure that probably got answered, but I can't remember in the mythology. But yeah, it became his armor. And now the interesting thing is, like I said, it was a constellation of summer solstice. It's now currently a spring constellation. So again, we kind of got that energy of things lighting up on fire type deal. It's still got that same kind of energy happening in the world. It's no longer the summer solstice one, even though astrologically it still is, quote. But it's now spring constellation, so we get that fire, and even though it's not quite as correct as with, like, say, the Aries constellation. But anyway, all right, moving on to the Kabbalah. So strength is path number 19. I have my mystical cats card here, which is a black cat, pretty void, with amber or yellow colored eyes, sitting on the cobblestone path of a very lovely green garden, surrounded by bluebirds. There's a bluebird in the bath in the back. It's got, the kitty has two bluebirds sitting on her, and then one actually curled in the crook of her side. And the reasoning for that with this card is that it takes extreme strength to overcome, again, your own instincts, to let things be, without, basically she's like, I don't need to hunt or eat these, I'm not desperate, and they're pretty and they sing, and I'd rather be friends with them, so I will control my own predatory instincts to hunt this prey in order to befriend them. And so it's whereas in the traditional RWS, it's like the woman holding down the lion, it's almost more potent here in that the cat is holding herself down. It's like, that's what the woman and the lion is actually supposed to represent, as we know, but it's more obvious, but it's less symbolic here, I suppose. So in the Kabbalah, strength is associated with path 19 between Chesed and Geburah, between the Sephirot of mercy and severity. So in the Kabbalistic tree of life, there's 3 pillars. The middle one is the pillar of harmony, the left is the pillar of severity, and the right is the pillar of mercy. So, and they're named after the left and right pillars are named after the middle Sephirot on those pillars, which are severity and mercy. Severity is limitations. It's associated with Saturn. It's the one that says, okay, no, we need to put some bounds on this, some boundaries on this. We need to take a step back, put some limits on this. Gevura, or no, that was Gevura. Chesed, or mercy, is the one that says, free ice cream for all. Love and light, wonderful things. Have some gooey candy. Just eat until you're sick. Basically, there's no limit to Chesed. It just gives and gives, and it's loving and kind and wonderful, but too much of it is going to make you fucking sick. And you can't drink water without a cup. Chesed, mercy, is the water. Geburah, severity, is the cup, the form, the one that says, okay, you need to have something. Okay, yes, you can drink water without a cup, but you still have to put it in, say, like the palm of your hands. The palm of your hands, that cupping, is Geburah, severity, the limitations, the form. So strength is in between these, is the path in between these two. I keep hitting my mic. I'm sure that's lovely to listen to. Yeah, it's the path in between these two. It's the one where they meet, and it's the transition between. It's like, yes, lovely, sweet, wonderful things. This cat can enjoy this garden and these birds, but only by limiting themselves to not give in to their predatory nature. In order to have all this sweet stuff, they have to have limits. To have that perfectly performed here. The image associated with this path is a serpent, which brings us back to the Celestial, where she's got the snake on her arm. I just figured I'd point that out. Its number value is actually 9. So it's path 19 or path 9, because basically the paths start at path 11, if you'll remember from the Fool episode. If I did put that in there, I hope I did. They start at 11 because the final Sephirot is 10. Took me a sec to look at it and realize that, but yeah. So technically this is the 9th path, air quotes, even though it's path 19. So its number value is 9, which is also technically the number value of the Hebrew letter, which in the English school, it's Teth is the letter associated with it, and yeah, there's a whole thing with that. I actually go a little into detail on that in my new tarot class I'm doing at Strega on 1 or 2 Saturdays of the month. You can find it on my Facebook if you're in Sierra Vista and you want to come to it. You're interested in tarot. It's not a beginner class. I'll put that out there. You should be comfortable with tarot. You should know the basic structure of the deck, which it's kind of like if you're watching the videos here, you know the basic structure of the deck, you know the cards. I kind of do something similar to what I'm doing here, except for not a card by card thing. But it's called the Reader's Tarot Voices of the Deck, so you can find it either at my Facebook at Bags and Omens, or at the Strega Facebook page, or the Strega Shop website, stregashop.com. I'll go ahead and post links below, because what the hell. Alright, but yeah, so I get a little bit more into the detail on that sort of stuff, on the letters and all that. Alright, so the next part of this is the Kabbalistic Angel. Sorry. I have an impromptu binder, which is kind of more of a tube top, and it keeps trying to slip, because it's not really a tube top, and it's not actually supposed to be around my chest. But I've gone and stretched it. So, anyway. Alright, so the Kabbalistic Angel is Hakamiya, Hakamiya, the raising god. They are the angel number 16, and they're a cherubim, and their psalm is 88:2, and they protect against traitors and give victory and deliverance from oppressors. Loyalty, deliver from those who seek to oppress, brings victory. So again, we've got kind of that strength, that lion strength, protects against traitors, and delivers from those who seek to oppress. It's like the willpower, the strength, again, that willpower and strength, that valor of breaking free, of protecting from those who would try to destroy. The willpower to stand up and say, no, fuck you. You can't get on me. So it's the raising god, the god who raises up, or the angels who raise up. They are those who are born under Hakamiya will be frank and loyal and have a brave character, be passionate and be sensitive to points of honor. That final bit, be sensitive to points of honor, it's like basically honor is most important to them, and they're going to be most sensitive if you attack their sense of honor. That's where they're going to be most likely to lash out. Again, frank and loyal, have a brave character. The Hakamiya is the soul guardian of those born from 5 to 5:20 a.m., physical guardian of those born from June 3rd to 7th, and the moral guardian of those born January 17th, April 4th, June 15th, August 26th, and November 6th. Alright, so that's Hakamiya. Nice, sweet, and simple angel, just like all the rest of this card. That seems to be a bit of a common theme. I wonder. Anyway. Alright, so the being from the Fantasy World Tarot deck that I have here is the Manticore. So, the Manticore is an Indian beast who is, the name Manticore is actually from the Persian word Martikorus. The Manticore is usually scarlet colored, is scarlet colored, with the head of an old man, the body of the lion, and the tail of a scorpion, and sometimes wings. The head of the old man, however, has 3 sets of teeth. The lion is like extra large, like the body is like, they're bigger than a lion basically, extra large, and they have large sharp claws, larger than should be possible, I suppose. And the tail of the scorpion, however, now this is where it gets interesting, because they actually have extra stingers, some of which can actually shoot off and fly like barbs to sting their prey, so they don't even have to actually chase you down, they can just shoot you. And what they like to do is lie in wait in the tall grass, and with just the head peeking out, so it's like an old man like, oh, help me. And you're like, why is there an old man lying there in the grass? So you get closer, and it's like, wait, what's wrong with that? Oh, boom, you're dead. Yeah, so, and sometimes wings, like dragon-like wings, like bat-like wings, um, they're said to be an apex predator that left no trace of its victims but blood. Basically, it would eat everything, including the clothes. And it preferred to hunt large groups of people, not single people. No, that wasn't good enough. It had to be at least 3 men. At least. Preferably more. So, very much a overachieving animal, this beast. They were said to be undefeatable. The only weakness, and apparently, from what I could find, nobody knows why, but their only weakness was apparently elephants. They could hunt literally everything else, but elephants would crush them and kill them. Which, what the fuck? But we have in this card with that, we've got the Manticore kind of striding up a rocky cliff with lots of flowers, chasing a butterfly actually with the sunshine. And so, as deadly as the Manticore is in this scene, it's gorgeous. It's just such a pretty, lovely scene. And again, we have that that one of these is not like the other, but they're blending together perfectly. So the absolute strength of this Manticore, the absolute undefeatable hunting prowess of this apex predator that is just deadly as all fucking get out, is contained in this beautiful area. It's playing with a butterfly. And again, and we have that kind of a theme going on of things look way calmer and softer and more beautiful than they might actually be. You fuck with them, and shit's gonna blow up in your face. That's purely this card of, yeah, be pretty. It might be pretty, but watch out and don't fuck with it. It's going to eat you alive and leave no trace but blood. Kind of the gist of this card. Which is actually pretty cool. Alright, our final bit, and damn, I'm moving fast. Our final bit is the traditional meanings of the card, and I have my Archeon Tarot here. When this one, we've got the lion. It's kind of like in an archway of a doorway. There's a lion head, and then instead of a woman, we have a very muscular gladiator-looking man, just kind of, well, not even gladiator, just a muscular-looking man, just doing the whole thing with the Grecian, oh, you know how most guys will like put up their arms and like, oh, these guns. It's like this is the Grecian version where it's like one hand's over the other. For those of you not watching, and bending forward like, see these muscles in my arms and my back. I mean, I appreciate them. I definitely do. And what's interesting here is we've got the lion's just the gentle looking one. Actually, it looks like more like the lion is more in control of the man. Like, okay, calm the fuck down. We don't need to show off this much. It's like sometimes that strength is shown off and sometimes it's held back and reserved. We've got two different types of strength being shown here. Like one's like obvious, don't fuck with me. The other one is, I'm gonna look pretty, I'm gonna look nice, but probably still don't fuck with me because it's a fucking lion. Alright, so in traditional keywords for this are strength through gentleness, inner strength, self-confidence, definitely shown in this dude with his showing off. Inner strength with the lion, just kind of like sitting back gently because we know it's strong. Follow through, be brave and confident, persistence, and composure. Those keywords are all like shining out in this card. In reverse, the inverse or the shadow side of this card, sickly, not strong enough, either mentally or emotionally, just maybe even physically. Being a coward, trying to avoid being too bullheaded. Either you're being weak and trying to back off and like, no, I don't want to deal with this, or you're being bullheaded and just like being an asshole. That's kind of the shadow side of this card. And it's like sometimes And the upright is strength in its healthy aspect. The inverse is strength in its very unhealthy, we don't like these assholes aspect. So yeah. That's kind of tradition meetings, and wow, I managed to keep this at 35 minutes so far, and I'm already done. Alright, so yeah, that's it for today, I suppose. So, thanks for, hope you all enjoyed it. Thanks for hanging out and watching all this stuff. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe here on YouTube. Find me on Facebook. Like I said, I'll get links to the classes I have if you guys are interested. I don't have any online classes at the moment. I don't know if I will. Well, besides this, obviously, this is basically a free class. But yeah, if you guys got any questions or want to get a read or something, email me at bagsandomens@gmail.com. Yeah, just come find me. Or if not, I hope you guys at least enjoy my stuff. Give me likes, comments. Let me know what you guys think. I like likes and comments. Lets me know that people are watching and actually enjoying. I like seeing my watching view numbers go up too, but yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for me. So y'all have a good rest of your whatever, and take care. I'm out. Bye.